G'day champions, all things Bulldogs. Must be getting a bit annoying, but just getting me thoughts out there because I'm a bit bored on the road at the moment. It is Easter, I am staying safe. Presto's out for 3 weeks. He's broken his jaw in that head clash. Don't know how he got to come back on the field. I'm sort of thinking that it would have been a blessing if Morrin got on. Not Morrin, Blake Wilson at that point, because I think it would have helped us with our attack and probably with our cohesion in defence. So I was a little bit interested as to what was going to happen now. Well, for one thing, for everyone who's wanting to change the fullback or the halfback or whoever else, I think you need to wait another couple of weeks. Just saying. We've lost one of our best defensive and offensive right edge players, Jacob Preston. We all know how bloody good Presto is. And Kurt Morrin will get a minimum 2 weeks suspension, 3 weeks if he fights it. I think that's the way it goes. So I'm not happy about that at all. And it's just bad timing because I just don't think that our players in reserve grade in that forward pack are quite there yet. But it poses an interesting question. I think it's a rightful debate for fans to have. Who should play where? I'm really thinking that the players that should come join I'm probably, for the way that he's picking his sides, I'm not going to have Knight and Powasa both on the bench. I know a lot of people may suggest that, but I don't think that's the way to go. So what I would do, to say that Josh Curran can play pretty much 80 minutes, I would be throwing him into the right edge position. Because you'll do a lot of work over there. Although Salmon can definitely do that as well. There's definitely options they can go with. And they can also rotate a bit. So you could start with Salmon and have Curran start at lock or man. But both have been coming off the bench. So you think one starts on the bench. And then you've got a situation where, Salmon could probably have a rest. Kurt Mann comes onto the field, he goes to lock, and then Curran pushes out to the edge. And I'd probably prefer to have Curran play longer minutes than Jamin Salmon at this stage. Through what I'm seeing, I'm sure many people would agree. I would also so who you bring in as the replacement? I'm thinking Katani Kataga gets his NRL first start. I worry about his discipline and the sufferance. I worry about his, his work rate. But he can definitely do some damage with the ball. He can definitely do some damage without the ball. And he does look fitter and he does look stronger this year than last year. He looks like he's a first grader in the making, and I think it's a good opportunity to give him a go. And the other player I'm probably bringing in, if Harrison Edwards is close to being right and got some fitness, I think he just suits that more mobile sort of player that can come on and play some minutes. But I'd expect him to tire regardless. I don't really want to see a bench with Kurt Mann, Knight, or Powasa on the bench. If it was Kurt Mann, Powasa, what's his name? Sorry, I forgot. Katoga. Then who's that last player? You know what I mean? Who is it? Who's it going to be? Because you'd think that Salmon and Curran will probably start. Salmon's been starting anyway, but you think Curran comes in on that edge or starts at lock and Salmon goes to the edge? So I reckon they'll just keep Salmon at lock, put Curran to the edge, or they might even start Katoni Katoga on the edge and put him into the heat of the game, and then keep that same sort of situation going where Curran comes on after about 15 or 20 minutes. But is it a situation where you want to have, too many big forwards on the bench? I know that's what some teams like to do. They have their classic utility who comes on and plays the minute to help out the hooker. They have the 2 hooker rotation and they have 3 big boppers. But I think it's going away from that now, the way the game's going. I think that they're having a situation where it's a more mobile sort of deal. And so I think Hughes will stay there. Hopefully he gets some more minutes and things go right so he can play more minutes. I think you'll get Katoga come in, and for me it's Poasa or Liam Knight. I'm not sure if they go Katoga, Poasa, and Kurt Mann and Samuel Hughes. I don't know if they want to have 2 big boppers on the bench. But who knows? I think they might go for the more mobile player. And they could even bring in Chris Patolo. I just don't think Patolo's 100% yet. He's getting better every game. And I think Katoni Katoga is definitely one that they're going to bring in because he's been sort of the next man up as far as the selections go. So I reckon he's there in the picture. I think Poas is a big chance of coming back into the team. And, it's going to be interesting to see everybody's thoughts on it. Anyway, it was just a quick one. I thought I'd do that while I was thinking about it. I appreciate the thoughts and comments, even the bad ones and the nasty ones. Leave Hutcho alone. But yeah, I'm not tinkering with our back line. Wilson comes in for the Fox and that's it. Keep it the same. They need that familiarity with the edge defence. And the fact that Presto's out puts more pressure on that right-hand edge. So if you change the halfback as well, it's going to make it more difficult. But if he does, he does. And for me, Sexton's the next man up. So, and I don't think he's going to drop Blake Tapp on the creativity he's showing from fullback and the effort he puts in. Ran out of legs a little bit at certain times, but he did a lot of running across field and a lot of backing up and support and didn't get the ball. He did a lot of stuff that goes unnoticed. But 20 runs for 120 metres wasn't too bad. We're probably wanting a bit more out of that, a bit more return out of that. The other wingers did a good job. But yeah, I'm leaving that back line the way it is at the moment because we've lost Preston and we've lost Morrin, it's just too much change for us to deal with at once against leaving the players where they are, and I'm bringing in some mobile players. Look, this may be another one that's out of the box too. Jake Turpin has played a fair bit in that sort of Kurt Mann role and that small lock role this year as well when Hayward's come on. There's been times when they've played together. So and he defends really well, Jake Turpin. So I wouldn't be surprised if they do move Curran or Salmon into that edge role to play long minutes, that and then if Kurt Mann is playing more longer minutes as a genuine lock, which he's basically done, they might be tempted to bring in that smaller player like Turpin to come in for Morrin even, and they might even because he can just get in there and defend and fill up those holes, and that's how they're going about their business. Is they're trying to cover the weaknesses with the mobile, fast players that they've got. So, some things in our defence is going to get exposed shortly. I can see it. I could see some worrying signs there, as well as the good signs. It's like you take one with the other. But yeah, I think there won't be too many changes in the back line this week. Wilson will come in for the Fox. That'll be it. For those that wanted all these changes after 4 rounds, again, it's like typical Bulldogs fans, but good on you. I can see a couple of changes happening over the next couple of weeks, but right now that they've just lost Preston and Kurt Morrin, you don't want to make too many changes outside of that. So they've got to keep it together, and hopefully they can go give the Roosters a red hot crack, and Drew Hutchison can pull the pants down of his old team. That'd be good. I'd like to see that, just for his sake and for the team's sake, for the coach's sake, for everyone's sake. Anyway, guys, just a quick one today. Just my second live of the day. I've been a bit bored, but just trying to get my thoughts out about these changes. I'm a little bit pissed off that we've lost Presto, and he's so important to us. So he's irreplaceable. For me, I'm putting Josh Curran out there if he can handle that right edge. I can't remember if he's played on the right or the left. I think he can play anywhere. I think he's the more imposing defender and the better workhorse who can play long minutes, and then you can just rotate Salmon and Mann in that small lock position. They could still play 40 minutes each or 35, 80 minutes between them essentially. Then you bring in Katoga onto the bench to give him a cameo role. He may even come on and play a bit in the middle, which might be better for him to start, Or if they get tired on those edges, or we need Curran to come in and rotate through the middle, Katoni can then just come jump on the edge and give Curran a break or whatever. But the other player that they pick is going to be the interesting one. How you going? Calming vibes for all. I needed some calming vibes after yesterday, I can tell you. I'm well, hope you're well. Happy Easter if you're into Easter. If not, enjoy the holiday if you got one. I'm well, mate. I'm just trying to get out my thoughts about these forced changes that have happened due to losing Preston and Morrin. And hopefully, I don't expect the coach is going to make any more changes of that. And then people sort of demanding that are being a bit unreasonable. If you've got to make 4 changes in a game, you rarely see a positive result out of that. Teams are just starting to get their cohesion together. They're starting to work things out. They're starting to learn from their mistakes. It's a really important time right now. And losing those couple of players, we just need to keep things as stable as possible. And hopefully nail some opportunities and everyone has a good game. Anyway, thanks again, everyone, for tuning in. When you do tune in, or if you have, or whatever, like and subscribe, all that sort of bullshit. It's always nice. But if not, feel free to give your comment. Oh, well, we've got another comment. As you said, we need to run as close to the same team week in, week out. 100%. 100%. That's the calming vibes we need for our fan base and for our team. Look, the coach isn't listening to the fans, and this is why I get a little bit, why I defend the coach. Serrato was never my pick as coach. Let's just get that out there. But as soon as the decision was made, that's the decision. We've got to move with it, and he's got to be allowed to have every opportunity. And it's the same when he picked his team in pre-season. When you got 10 new changes, 10 new players, they've got to have time to get things going. The main stat is we haven't won the possession. We've won it twice in the last 17 weeks, and we've won it twice in the last 2 weeks. So 15 weeks before that, we lost the possession, which means we lost most of our games, which is a stat that holds up. You hold possession, you win most of your games. We lost one yesterday with more possession, but circumstances told. I think stability is the key to improvement. And then you make changes when confidence is high, not when confidence is low. And I think confidence is still pretty good in what the team can do defensively. And for that reason, minimal changes are needed. It was all the extra changes we had to make last year, which screwed our season a lot through injury and then through other pressures. But as soon as the coach starts listening to the fans, they've lost the players, essentially. They've lost the club. They're gone. And I've seen that in our club, in our board, in our coaches a lot that have been on the way out. I think they've started to sort of listen to the rhetoric and the noise and sort of made some weird decisions to try and satisfy the fans a little bit, and ended up making our hole a lot deeper and a lot worse. And I just think stability is the key for us right now. I'd rather us be close and to have these lessons of like, well, this is the next part we need to get better at. I'd rather us be close and have a chance of winning, even if they don't get there. That's frustrating. It's annoying, but guess what? It means we're in the hunt. We're in the fight. You start moving the deck chairs around. You start taking away the chess pieces, which are basically giving your defense of your main pieces. And I'm losing my way with my analogy. But what happens is you start sacrificing one thing to try and improve in another, and the whole can then just collapse in on itself. And that I've seen that over and over and over again. Look, you can make mass changes when the season's over because then they play without fear. And actually, Serrato said something about that yesterday. When, it takes no fear when you got nothing to lose. And that's such an important thing in life. And I like the fact that he knows that they've still got to take shots. Mick Potter brought that to the team in spades. We've got to take shots. We've got to have we've got to fire a shot, and if we fail, we get out, we pull our socks up, work into position again, and we fire it again without fear, right? And I think the team tried to do that last year, and they overplayed that rule. It's about finding the balance, and I just don't think that I think that he knows that they had opportunities there, and they should have tried taking a few more risks, and they didn't. And they had enough time to take more risks than they did. They basically had 20 minutes, and that comes down on the halves. I get that. As hard as it was with the reshuffle, that is what the standard and expectation needs to be. I don't discount that, but I really believe that they will learn a lot from that. They'll fire some shots and they'll get some rewards from it. And if they're firing those shots and taking those risks, people need to also praise that, because one thing that will happen is when they do take those shots, when they do take those risks, when they're changing the game and they're getting behind the ball and they're chasing things, our fans can then be critical at the fact that they didn't execute. And I'm like, yeah, well, you're 6 points behind, 20 minutes to go. Do you keep building pressure, or do you fire 3 shots at the opposition, or take some low percentage plays to try and win the game? Now, I even look at Blake Taft with that kick for Connor Tracy. What a fantastic try that was. Brilliant. But if the kick is a little bit off and Tracy knocks it on, or he goes out the touch, then instead of getting the praise, he's getting the criticism. It's a very, very fine line, and we just need to keep that in mind. For me, it's about the intention. If they've got the intent and they're going after the game, they're doing that defensively, which is why I think most fans are in agreement that we're loving that, and we can't fault their effort in that area. If they start chasing the game a little bit, do a lot of the 1% as well to get the right to do that, they will get some success, but they're also going to have some failures as well. And we need to be understanding that at least they went after it, at least they tried. Look, it's not as if we didn't cross the line yesterday 3 times and had 3 tries, disallowed. We scored 3. The opposition scored 3. We were down a player for 10 minutes, not them. We were down a player for 15 minutes. That's very important, not them, who broke his jaw. They should have had a player in the bin, but didn't on at least 2 occasions. So, look, I don't think we're really focusing everything on 1 or 2 players. I think stability is the key, and I 100% agree with calming vibes for all. Anyway, happy Easter, everyone. Loving it. Take care.